Zum Finale des German Darts Grand Prix 2018 zum 47. Match an diesem Wochenende hier im Zenit und freuen uns noch einmal über den UK Open Champion von 2017, der sein 13. European Tour Finale spielt und der darauf hofft, seinen 7. European Tour Titel einzufahren. Er hat gerade mal 7 Legs auf dem Weg in dieses Finale abgegeben. Er hat Josh Payne bezwungen, Alan Tabern, Joe Cullen und im Halbfinale James Wright geschlagen. Ein herzliches Willkommen zum letzten Mal der Nummer 2 der Welt aus Schottland, Snakebite, Peter Wright. Es ist das 64. Duell zwischen der Nummer 1 und der Nummer 2 der Welt. Das 16. Finale. Und ein letztes Mal freuen wir uns auf den Weltmeister von 2014 und 2017. Er spielt sein 27. European Tour Finale. Er hofft auf seinen 22. European Tour Titel. Und er hat an diesem Wochenende nur 9 Legs abgegeben. Er hat Steve Lennon bezwungen, Alan Norris, Keegan Brown und im Halbfinale Daryl Gurney geschlagen. Ladies and Gentlemen, MVG, Mighty Mike, Michael van Gerwen! Best of 15 Legs heißt es jetzt im Finale. Wer 8 Legs gewinnt, gewinnt das Preisgeld in Höhe von 25.000 Pfund. Und der Caller dieses Finals ist der Calculator, Kirk Bevins.
It is once again a best of 15 legs final. It went all 15 legs last weekend in Leverkusen, and it's a final with a familiar feeling. The world's number 1 and 2 meet in a European Tour final for the first time in a week. There'd been a long wait before that when Michael van Gerwen had lost to Phil Taylor in Berlin. But Peter Wright looking to win his first title of 2018. Michael van Gerwen looking to rack up his 8th already. And when Michael van Gerwen reaches the final, he usually wins it. He's run a few darts in the semi-final against Daryl Gurney that suggests that he's finding it all too easy. Michael van Gerwen. He didn't find it that easy last week against Peter Wright and Chris Murphy. Dan Dawson was talking you through that one, and he'll talk you through this one too.
Yeah, Peter Wright will feel that he should have walked away with the opening Euro Tour title of the year last weekend.
It's Peter to throw first. Game on.
Snakebite was 5-1 up in that final last week. He missed a dart for the title, having been the first to 6 legs, the first to 7 legs. But the increased format, first to 8, means that Michael van Gerwen had a chance to turn it around, and turn it around he did.
60.
MVG won his 21st Euro Tour title. The next man on the list in terms of number of Euro Tour titles won is Peter Wright. He's got 6. 6 is a lot. 6 is great, but it's some way off 21.
Yeah, and it's 21 titles from 26 finals on the European Tour for Michael van Gerwen.
Yeah, it is an elite club of players who've beaten MVG in Euro Tour finals. Michael Smith has done it a couple of times. Phil Taylor, the 16-time world champion, has done it. And this man right here, Peter Wright, has done it twice. Both last year. One around this time last year, and then he followed that up with a 6-0 win in Sindelfingen.
96.
It was just before he should have beaten him in the Premier League final, where he missed a whole load of match darts to do so, Peter Wright.
$140. I require 85.
So, for an early break, bullseye for MVG.
37.
Fails to hit, and Wright has a chance to rescue this leg.
There have been spells this weekend where van Gerwen has been missing doubles in bunches, clumps of darts at them. And he certainly did that at the start of their final last week. Peter Wright took advantage. Not going to take advantage here.
69. I do require 48. Game's on the first leg. Michael van Gerwen.
MVG does break in the first leg of this match. He did have to survive a match start against Peter Wright last weekend in Leverkusen, but he's on an incredible winning run in finals, isn't he, Michael van Gerwen?
It is astonishing. If you go back to May last year, when he played in the World Series final in Dubai against Gary Anderson, and both men in the heat of the desert outside averaged 110.
100.
It was scintillating stuff. Gary Anderson won that 11-7. Since then, Michael van Gerwen has not been beaten in a PDC final. Whether that is a ranked event or not, it does not matter. And he is in a lot of finals. 18 wins on the trot in finals for MVG. Astonishing. And that obviously includes that one last week against Peter Wright, winning it 8-7. Also includes a Grand Slam final where he beat Peter Wright by 16 legs to 12.
Yeah, it's a pair that have met in many a final. Their first was the World Championship, where Michael van Gerwen was crowned king of the world of darts for the first time.
57. Michael Gerwen, 121. 53.
A little bit surprised didn't go bullseye first dart there. It is a favoured tactic for some of the Dutch players. But then again, Michael van Gerwen is doing some very odd things today. It's like he's just trying to freshen things up and keep things interesting and stop himself from being bored. Now, I didn't think we'll see it to the extent that we saw it earlier on in this final, but you never know, do you?
Well, there was one really silly shot, wasn't there, in the semi-final against Daryl Gurney? A shot that he'd taken out before that day. 124 on 2 treble 20s, but on the occasion he took it out, his opponent wasn't on a finish. Daryl Gurney was, and he tried to go the same way. Didn't work out for him then. And that hasn't worked out for Michael van Gerwen, allowing Peter Wright a chance to break straight back.
125 needed for Snakebite. Oh, 25 in ball. There's the 25. Is there room?
100.
There was, but he just couldn't quite squeeze it in there.
Game's on the second leg. Michael van Gerwen. The
So once again, Michael van Gerwen is having the better of the early exchanges. You see him there just trying to fire himself up. Perhaps a way of trying to keep that focus, because he would have reflected on his antics in the semi-final match in the 20 minutes or so we've had between his win against Gurney and this. It's not just today, actually. We get the benefit of seeing, as you do, all the live-streamed action from the floor events, the Players' Championship series of events. And Michael van Gerwen has been doing a few tricks like that
100
away from the big stage.
Yeah, he won a title, didn't he, against Gary Anderson the other day. Had 118 checkout, went bullseye. Was looking at 18 for bullseye again. He hit the treble 18 and finished it on double 7. Now, there is sort of method in that madness, I guess.
140.
You can argue, but it's certainly unconventional.
58. Peter Reguard, 121.
Now, golden opportunity for Peter Wright to get a leg on the board here. 2 visits to see off 1-2-1. Well, he's gone ball first time.
51.
Well, it's not as quick a start to the game as he made against Joe Cullen or Alan Tavern or James Wade. All the matches he's won today, only dropping 4 legs in the process.
They might lose the first 3 here, as Van Gerwen eyes up double 16. Double 8 will do.
70.
And once again, a couple of darts at double. Michael van Gerwen has missed. It's happened on repeated occasions this afternoon and tonight.
Well, the finishing has been excellent all weekend from Peter Wright, but it's not started well for him here. That's a lot better for Snake Fight. He gets on the board. He's got something to build upon in this final.
Yeah, very, very impressive in his quarter-final in particular against Joe Cullen, averaging almost 109 in his 6-1 win there, Peter Wright. And both players have shown they kind of just about turned up on their first day here, but a surge towards the final today, as they often seem to do.
138.
Nobody's better at reaching the final of these Euro Tour events than these two. Peter Wright still has this proud record of having played in every single European Tour event since it was created in its current guise at the start of 2012. Michael van Gerwen ducked out of a couple through injury or illness, or just basically wanting to take a break. But Peter Wright is constantly turned up, looking for money, for glory, for ranking points. And he's become an absolute expert at claiming them, but this is not going how he would have envisaged.
60.
He did miss loads of darts at double in the opening few legs of their final last weekend, and Wright was there to take advantage, but he's not scoring well enough at the minute to give himself those opportunities.
There's an example of that. Gerwen returns and restores a 2-leg lead.
Michael van Gerwen. The leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
Well, Peter Wright, in stark contrast to Michael van Gerwen, has not had a great time of it in finals of late.
140.
He did win on the European Tour back in September. He beat Kim Huybrechts in a last leg decider, but that's the only final he's won in his last 7.
100.
Couple to MVG this year, 1 to Gary Anderson. That was a 6-0 whitewash on the Pro Tour. Last year, 1 to Rob Cross, the world champion, and 2, including the world match play, to Phil Taylor. So look, he's only lost to the world number 1, the world champion, the double world champion and world number 4, and Phil Taylor, the greatest player that's ever lived.
55.
But he has still lost them. And Peter Wright, as world number 2 and a man who wants to be the best in the world, he wants to be number 1, he's not happy to accept that. He's not willing to accept that.
100.
And he's digging his heels in now, firing in his 15th 180 of the tournament. Peter Snakebite Wright.
139.
Only last week, Peter Wright said he will be world #1 before he retires. Certainly an ambition that he harbours.
Oh my, he's doing it again. Double 19 for double 12.
69.
This is a new MO, and he's doing it even when his opponent is not on a finish. And I don't know what the thinking is, to be honest, because you're in danger of throwing it out the board and it costing you a dart.
He lands with double 6.
Peter Wright.
And claws himself
Michael throw first. Game on.
back into contention, and he won't be as far behind at the same stage as he was.
134.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, it was Peter Wright who dominated the early exchanges with Van Gerwen missing doubles last weekend, but he's just slowly starting to get his scoring form together here.
140.
These guys have both been averaging pretty much 100 for the tournament. It's been up and down a little bit,
100.
but it's been round about that 100 mark, which is what you expect from the top two players in the world.
Yeah, Van Gerwen was just below that against Daryl Gurney, but partly because of the silly shots that he tried in that match.
Good visit.
134.
Gives him a chance.
I give you 134. 58.
Missed the bullseye
You are 132.
for a 1-2-5 earlier in this match. If you're looking at that segment again, he found it. Is there room for another this time? Well, there was plenty of room, but once again,
I give you 172.
just the wrong side of the ring.
That may not be the last time we see Peter Wright go for a couple of bullseyes. I just have a strange feeling. Double 18. And that is a big dart. Peter Wright sat on top looking to break back. He has come back into this final. The MVG, who is missing doubles, does not miss when it really counts.
Yeah, and the crowd just started to make themselves known there, and Michael Van Gerwen attempted to boo louder than the collective boos.
I mean, I'm all for having confidence in your own ability, particularly when you're breaking records left, right and centre. But trying to outshout 3,000 rowdy Germans is probably something beyond even Mighty Mike. There you see. Michael Van Gerwen, 39%. I mean, look, that's okay. That's average. He won't be happy with that. That's for the whole tournament.
100.
25% he certainly won't be happy with, and it'll be a little bit concerning for Van Gerwen that for the second Euro Tour final running, his finishing hasn't really been up to scratch, certainly in the early stages. He got away with it here so far.
Yeah, and had Peter Wright managed to just maintain the level of performance that he's shown so far today, he might not have got away with it.
Certainly, he was constantly putting MVG under pressure in Leverkusen in the early stages, and that helped him build up that 5-1 lead. Ultimately, Van Gerwen did manage to turn around. But here, it's not been jumping down his throat at every opportunity.
140.
71 for Peter Wright.
71.
Well, it could be a crucial one.
Single 18 for tops.
31.
Yep. Could well be a pivotal moment in this match. He could find himself playing the role of chaser here if Michael Van Gerwen cleans this up.
28.
And once again, fails to take that kind of mid-range finish out.
Wright
Peter Wright.
keeps it
Ladies
tight.
and gentlemen, the throw first, game on.
4-3 MVG.
140.
Only the two 180s so far in this final, one apiece. And you see
131.
Michael van Gerwen struggling, it's fair to say.
140.
Even when he's getting it down to a one darter, he is struggling. Missing clutches of darts.
He is, and it's been a habit that we have seen a lot of this season from Michael van Gerwen.
140.
Seems silly considering he's won 7 titles
Yeah,
already.
but it's true. Hope offered to the rest of the field.
105.
Has to stay on the 20s here because another single 20 leaves
60.
170. But really, one treble would have put loads of pressure on this. He's blocked a bit of the 60 bed, Van Gerwen. Doesn't matter, does it?
Game shown the 8th leg. Michael van Gerwen.
Yeah, denies Wright a chance to take out 170 and just keeps that little bit of daylight between him and his opponents. Did finish off the semi-final in style against Daryl Gurney, a 149 checkout, which he rather enjoyed. And he's motoring now.
First to 8 legs, remember. Rather than 6, it was first to 6, even in the final on the European Tour last year and all the previous years. They've changed the format this year. Get more bang for your Euro buck nowadays. And going surrendering the initiative in this leg.
Surrendered back by Snakebite. And his hand bitten off. 2 180s in the leg from Michael van Gerwen gets him down to 96 after 9 darts.
121.
There's been one great visit, one poor one, one great one. What's this one, Michael?
78.
It's disappointing.
Wow, 106.
And it must be troubling for Michael van Gerwen because it keeps happening. Will Wright get a shot? He will. This time he hit. A response to the 116, the 106 from Peter Wright.
And under major pressure as well.
134.
Peter Wright needs to find a break of throw from somewhere. This just has the feel of the world number 2 clinging on. There have been times when you kind of sense that MVG could have put this one to bed, but he's not been clinical enough to do it. Had a dart for a 5-2 lead, couldn't take it. Had a dart for a 6-3 lead, couldn't take it. In fact, had 2 darts just then for a 6-3 lead. Wright could well be first to a finish here. Even a ton might be enough because that 161 is a favourite of Peter Wright.
100.
Well, that's what he's got.
It's been a weekend of massive checkouts.
It certainly has.
100. Peter Wright, 100.
Peter Wright at a 170 against him by James Wade. And he's firing a huge one himself. Just might. Well, what a time this would be to do it. What a shot that is from Peter Wright. Bang!
Peter Wright! It is a stormer. And suddenly, Snakebite holds the advantage. He beat MVG in a Euro Tour final 6-0 with a jaw-dropping display. And if my memory serves, he took out a 161 that day that just crushed MVG's spirit. Could that have done something similar?
And as you said, he just clung on to MVG's coattails and waited to pounce. And it is very fitting that we've had a huge checkout in this final after all the ones that we've seen here in Munich this weekend.
It is not a decisive one, not yet at any rate, because Van Gerwen is still piled in 4 trebles in his first 2 visits. And if Wright cannot consolidate that incredible break of throw by holding, then, well, I mean, it's not for naught, but he has not led in this final, Peter Wright.
$190.
Just had a sense that it was simmering away, didn't it? And starting to reach boiling point. Van Gerwen leaves 108 after 9 darts. Right now needs a treble. Or the 161 could be absolutely wasted.
68.
But even Kirk Bevans was almost laughing when he called that score of 68.
Wow. 2 treble eights.
140.
Well, he asked the question. Van Gerwen has been missing doubles in bunches. Is he as charitable here? No, he is not. 14 darter break back.
So I think it's Michael to throw first.
Still needs 2 more legs to secure a 22nd Euro Tour title and his 2nd one out of 2 this year.
140.
And extend this incredible run of winning appearances in finals to 19, dating back to May last year.
100. $96.
The average for Van Gerwen is now touched the 100 mark. You get the feeling, even when they start slowly, these two, if they just play for long enough, they're going to get to 100
Yeah,
average.
it's going to reach peak performance levels at some point.
100.
You look downstairs.
$133.
Leaves his favourite finish. I don't know if it's adrenaline that's just going through it, but ever since he hit that 161, Peter Wright, is just, the radar's been off, hasn't it?
There's loads of room there. Loads of it.
160.
And MVG really wanted to hit back with a showstopper of his own.
Just seems to have lost his range on the treble 20, doesn't he? And he's not really challenged Michael Van Gerwen in the last couple of legs. And double 4 for MVG puts him on the brink of yet another Euro Tour title. Peter Wright has the throw in 2 of the 3 remaining legs, but he must win every single one of them. He has trailed all the way through this final. Can he sneak up behind the world #1 and pick his pocket?
60.
That visit suggests not.
$57.
Well, Van Gerwen fails to punish this time. Peter Wright there just taking a little bit of extra time before approaching the hockey. seems to have helped.
180.
Only his second maximum in this final, Peter Wright.
140. $97.
Well, he won't have to go for this 164, so MVG might already be thinking about the next leg, the one where he would have the throw to try and close it out.
$100. $58. Peter requires 64.
Peter Wright then too. Well, they're both at it. The best two players in the world at times playing silly darts this weekend at the German Darts Grand Prix.
I mean, what are they doing? Michael Van Gerwen and Peter Wright.
125.
Believe that there's 25 grand on this.
32.
It's the biggest titles outside of the major televised tournaments. And they're playing for lols, and it might well have just contributed to Peter Wright taking his eye off the ball here. Michael Van Gerwen can close this out.
Game shot.
And that
and the
is
2018
once
German
again, Van Gerwen reigns supreme on the European Tour. Yet another title. He's closing in on double figures for the year already. We are only just into April. The top two in the world clash in the final on the European Tour. And Peter Wright is bested once again by Mighty Mike. It has been an astonishing weekend, some magnificent stuff played by these two primarily, but also the likes of James Wade, Michael Smith, Daryl Gurney, Rob Cross. The Euro Tour will be back in a couple of weeks' time. We've got Saarbrücken and then Graz in Austria. The Pro Tour is back next weekend, but we're going to grab some words with your champion, Mighty Michael Van Gerwen, and your runner-up, Peter Snakebite Wright. The top two in the world putting on a show here in Munich in more ways than one.
Und damit kommen wir zur Siegerehrung des German Darts Grand Prix 2018. Und zu dieser möchte ich gerne den CEO der PDC Europe hier oben auf der Bühne begrüßen, Werner von Moltke. Runner-up, und damit geht ein Preisgeld in Höhe von 10.000 Pfund an Snakebite Peter Wright. Und der Sieger des German Darts Grand Prix 2018 ist die Nummer 1 der Welt, Mighty Mike, MVG, Michael van Gerwen. Michael, congratulations. European Tour title number 22. In the beginning it was not so easy. Yesterday you had a couple of problems.
Yeah, but you have to do it good in the end if you want to win. And that's exactly what I did. I won the game and I won the tournament. And I'm really proud of myself. I didn't play phenomenal, but I did enough to win this game. And I annoyed Peter again.
The dominance is amazing. I mean, you lost 9 legs to the final. Peter lost 7 legs. It's again the final between the number 1 and the number 2 in the world.
Yeah, exactly, and the number 1 won. No. Peter is a phenomenal player. He's always trying his hardest. He never gives up. He's always desperate to win his games. But yeah, what can you do? It's always a great game between us, and you both want to win, and you have to play well, you have to make sacrifices, and you have to entertain the crowd and everyone at home. But I'm winning, I won this one.
Also Michael ist natürlich glücklich über den Erfolg. Er sagt, Peter ist ein so toller Spieler, der so viel investiert für den Erfolg, der so viel macht für die gesamte Tour. Und es sind immer wieder tolle Matches zwischen ihm und Peter Wright, aber natürlich freut er sich über den Titel. Peter, one question, come on. That was a great weekend, I know, you would love to win that one. No, congratulations for reaching the final again. That's a good result.
As you said, I'm a great runner-up.
Oh, no.
He said to me a couple of years ago, I'll be number 2 in the world and he'd be number 1, and he's correct, and I hate him.
Peter hasst ihn. Er sagt, er hat vor Jahren schon mal gesagt, du bist der tolle Nummer 2, aber er ist die Nummer 1 der Welt. Nochmal einen großen Applaus für Snakebite Peter Wright. Er hat ein tolles Turnier gespielt. Michael, what's the plan for tonight? Are you just go home to the Netherlands?
My first plan is to make this bet a little bit bigger. I got a bigger hat.
And in 2 weeks you will be in Saarbrücken? Next European Tour event?
Of course I'm in Saarbrücken. I don't want to let my fans down. I don't want to let myself down. And I want to do the best thing and try to win every tournament I'm competing in. And I'm not even playing my best performance, but I'm getting there. I hope everyone enjoyed it here. Munich, did you enjoy? That's the most important, and I enjoyed this well because I won.
Also, Michael van Gerwen, der verdiente Sieger hier beim German Darts Grand Prix 2018, den wir dann auch in 2 Wochen in Saarbrücken wiedersehen werden. Gerade Peter Wright und Michael van Gerwen, die beiden sind bei sämtlichen Turnieren mit dabei. Jetzt wird es noch das Foto geben und für mich ist das der Moment, wo ich mich im Namen der PDC Europe auch gerne bei euch bedanken würde. Wir hatten 3 wunderbare Tage hier im Zenit und ich darf euch schon mal eins sagen, es sieht nicht schlecht aus, dass wir auch im nächsten Jahr über die Ostertage hier im Zenit zurückkommen werden mit der PDC Europe. Kommt gut nach Hause. Kommt sicher nach Hause. Vielleicht sehen wir ja den einen oder anderen auch bei den anderen Turnieren auf der European Tour in diesem Jahr 2018. Nochmal ein Glückwunsch an Michael van Gerwen und auch an Snakebite Peter Wright. Bis dann.